before we get into the video, I quickly want to say that this video has clips of the reruns we did on stream, which with parts of each of those, just to make it easier for me to show and explain what I want to do in each room separately. I highly recommend having a good team with actual striker DPS like we had here, otherwise it will be a very miserable experience. If you're playing on PC and want to earn quick and easy legendary or raids with us, we do Iron Horse on Friday as well as the weekly legendary project every Saturday. You can find those in the event channel on the Bro Squad Discord, which will be linked in the description. I will always be streaming those runs over on Twitch as well. Yo, I'm back with another video, this time with the foaming tutorial for Tidal Basin. A few people asked me to continue with those, so here we are. Builds will be the same as on the other videos, linked in the description, mainly Eclipse and Future Initiative, together with the Courier, and Perfect Creeping Death, and BT Zoo Gloves. For some areas you can swap a setup in, named using a backpack with Perfect Opportunistic, to give another buff to your team. I do recommend watching the other videos first, since I do show and explain some more basic strategies, which I won't go into detail for this video. I personally will be swapping a lot between Eclipse and Future for a bit, starting most rooms with Eclipse and swapping to Future when the choppers are coming in, since I won't need Eclipse for them, and I can provide another buff for my team. I will also show you a quick and easy way to set hot swaps up in such a way to make it really quick and easy. However, it is not needed, but it can definitely help. Like on the other foam videos, if your teammates don't play actual good DPS builds, there really isn't the point of foaming. Mainly due to the short duration of foam legendaries, enemies really need to die quick for foam to be helpful in any shape or form. Alright, before we get into the foaming, I quickly want to show the builds again. So we do have 4-piece Eclipse, everything with status effect and skill haste mods, as well as a Courier with skill haste and status and BT Zoo Gloves. For specialization, we're going with Survivalist for the bonus damage up to status effect enemies for your team, as well as weapons will be Scorpio and Lefty for Perfect Sledge. For the FI builds, we pretty much run the same thing, but instead of Eclipse pieces, we have Future Initiative pieces, also with status and skill haste. Alright, so for the hot swapping, there's multiple ways. I'm going to show you my favorite for this case. So basically what you have to make sure is that your loadouts you want to swap to are on the top. So for me this would be the Eclipse on 1, the FI on 2, and the FI with a setup just for the backpack on 3. And if I go into my inventory, I want to go to options and make sure my items are sorted by loadout. I recommend doing the grid just so you can see 2 items at once. And if I'm in the mission and I want to quickly swap to FI, all I have to do is go into inventory and just have the 4 pieces FI on top, and I can quickly swap through them. If I want to go back to Eclipse, Eclipse will be on top now. Otherwise I can just, if we're finishing the room, I could just swap here. There's other ways to do this, for example, sorting by favorite and just removing every favorite from the pieces you don't need. However, I don't really recommend that if you just need to swap easy ones like this. This is more for advanced ones. As soon as we enter the first room, I'm going to overcharge for my foam as well as for my teammates' shields, sticky MPs, or just general skills. I'll foam once on the left, and then in this case on the right for the Chunga. This might be a bit different for you, depends on how they spawn. Whenever I have some time, I'm going to play Scorpio. Remember to always drop your healing hive back for your team. And what you see me do here is I'm basically waiting to react. So the Chunga is chained, he's not shooting, he's not a threat, he's not going to run away, so I won't foam him. And I'd rather focus on the respawns here. You'll see me do that a lot, where I'm basically holding my foam and I'll be ready to foam if they need it. But I would always love to save my foam like you see here. These guys, they won't really do anything, so I'll just save my foam for the next room. For this part, when we enter, I will try to foam the bridge part with the 1 drone first. I drop my hive here, where 2 of my teammates will play, and 1, in this case Palmic, will push to the right just to have a different angle onto the enemies. They will use their EMPs to disable and take out the dogs. I will use my Scorpio here a lot to just give some Scorpio, as well as what you see here is marking them, so you see the little thermometer. That's also what my teammates can see. As soon as we cleared most of the enemies, I want to get ready for the respawn like you see here. I'll try to form the right side on top, just because usually the elites spawn there and it just makes it easier for everyone to take them out quickly, especially the medic. After, I'm just gonna try and form some random enemies who might still be alive, and I can also use my crossbow to try and break some dogs that might still be up. And when we finish this, you'll see me swap to FI, because for the rest of the room there will only be choppers, and I don't really need anything off Eclipse. I'm gonna go off the Creeping Dive backpack as well, since I won't use any foam, so I'll just try to put some opportunistic on the enemies as well, like you see here. And in a second, I will swap off BT Zoo and just put a random piece on. That's just so if I destroy my hive, I don't overcharge where I don't need it. And I just swap back so my hive is charging a bit for the next room. I don't want to use foam here since I want to charge my foams and it's not necessary usually because they die on the rope. However, if they are alive and start to run around, you can just use your foam. So I'm going to swap back to Eclipse, and basically as soon as we enter the next room, I'm going to drop my hive for my teammates, and then I'll just try to form in the center. And otherwise reform. Gonna try to give full Scorpio buff to this guy in this case. And what you see me do here is you see Pomik being low HP, and I'm gonna use an armor kit to heal him with that as well. Because like you can see here, if you have Survivalist and if you use an armor kit, it is also gonna apply to group members within 20 meters. So that's always something we can use as well. And otherwise it's just gonna be Scorpio, form if needed. And that's kind of the room. As soon as we enter this room, I want to overcharge and from left, right, and middle. Pomik will shoot an EMP in the middle, which I will show right here as well, where you want to shoot it. That just gets every dog and the mini tanks as well. I'm going to run up with Pomik, I'm going to drop in a hive, and then I'll just start my Scorpio. I want to be aware of the respawn, which will be on the left, one spawn here, and the right side. You see me let the right side jump down a bit, just so not everyone gets formed and stuck behind the wall like we have here on the left side. And then it's just the same as always, waiting for the team, putting Scorpio on, and if needed, put another foam down. Gonna pick up my hive soon just to let it charge a bit more, and then we're gonna swap back to future initiative. When we enter this room, I'm just gonna try and form the group that usually hangs around the left turret. They will sometimes spawn on different positions, but that's usually where they hang around. And I'm gonna drop my hive in the beginning for my team, just so they can get some healing while I focus on the dogs. And then I'm just gonna Scorpio as well as get ready for the respawn that will happen on the exit of the room. Ideally, I want to focus on the medic first of the respawn, just so he's not gonna pick up everything that we killed already. He's gonna be our biggest priority. Then we just go back to Scorpio as well as like on the medic. I'm gonna try and give the full Scorpio buff. And then it's about getting ready for the next spawn, which is gonna be right where we enter it. I'm gonna try and let them jump down just so they don't get formed behind and my teammates can easier shoot them. And we can also give them some Scorpio buffs here. There's gonna be another chopper with drones. So if my team is not already there, I'm gonna try and form them. It's gonna get a bit hectic here, because as soon as one of those drone ladies dies, that's around when we get the spawn on the exit of the room, where Pomik is already waiting. And if I don't form them quickly, I do think Pomik has a big problem. The rest of the room is pretty much reserved for me, so there isn't a lot going on anymore where they need me and my phone. So what I can do is give some Scorpio, and otherwise I'm gonna try and just keep preserving my foam for the next room and just being ready just in case they might need another foam. As soon as we jump down here, I want to overcharge, especially for the EMPs, shields, as well as my foam and my healing hive, of course. There's only a very limited amount of enemies here that can be foamed, so are non-electronics, 4 to be exact. So the 2 purples and the 2 controllers. So I would personally recommend just running F5 for here, especially if you have a good team who can make use of it. For here, I'm just going to pick up my hive to get some charges back, drop it when I'm getting shot, and just apply more Scorpio. I'm going to swap to Future here, because a lot of this room will just be choppers, and then it's just having the foam if needed, and basically just applying Scorpio and getting ready in case of something goes wrong. I'm going to swap to the setup as well, just for another additional buff, and we just get ready to basically get rid of all the choppers. What you see me do here is line up my fire grenade. So the easiest way to throw it onto the chopper is basically lining it up before, like I do here. As soon as the chopper comes in, I'm going to throw it up and make sure to hold my lefty. And every enemy who will come out of that chopper will have sledge on them. So it's just another additional buff. It's really important here to make sure to swap back to creeping death to our backpack. Otherwise, we might have some problems there. And for this chopper, basically just the same thing, lining up the grenade before, throwing it up, and just providing some sledge for my team. Like you could see here, they just come out burning and with a sledge. I'm already pre-throwing a nade for the next spawn, and then I'm just foaming if something survived from the spawn before. And as soon as they come out here, it's foam, and then just Scorpio. And for the last part of this room, I'm not gonna do a lot. There's gonna be 2 additional choppers, and yeah, we're basically just back to our role. Buff my team by existing, maybe some setup here and there, so some opportunistic, and otherwise just be ready in case something goes wrong. Before I show the foaming, I quickly want to explain how the seekers work. So as soon as we see the first dog, which is coming in right now, we're going to throw our Acosta nade to overcharge. As soon as we see the second dog, we're going to throw the seekers. When they land, we're going to shoot the sticky MP as well as one with our shotgun to proc in sync. Then it's just swapping back to our DPS build like we have it set up for the foam as well. So for here, I do run Future for the whole area, mainly to buff Seekers and just in general, since Eclipse isn't really needed. I wait for Shaki in this case to do Seekers like I showed, and as soon as the enemy's aggro, I want to foam. Which in this run, they just ignored it, for whatever reason. That does happen, since the devs changed how status works in PvP, and somehow also made it a PvE change. So you will see that happen a lot. When we run up, I drop my hive and throw a nade to slash the next chopper coming in. And then just get ready to foam if they escape or if we just need some Scorpio on the Chunga. So we go back to existing, buffing our team and hoping they do enough damage to get through this. As soon as we cleared this chopper, we're going to push up to the next one. I'm going to take my hive with me, just so I can drop it down there as well. And I'm going to try and throw a sledge grenade there as well, which I will miss in this run, but you get the idea. One of our team will stay back to take care of the last chopper that spawns on the entry of the room, and everyone else will run with me to the last chopper that spawns on the exit of the room. I'm getting ready to just foam like we always have, or just apply Scorpio. And that's kind of it. We want to make sure here most of our team's close by and ready, since as soon as we open this gate, the enemies start walking out of the hover. I'm getting ready to overcharge here, and my teammates will split 2 to the left on the container and 1 close right. When they're almost on the left side, I will overcharge and foam, and they will EMP the dogs and the mini tanks. I can throw a nade here for sledge, and after that I will go to the left and I will just drop my hive. For this room, I personally recommend running Future, since there is not a lot for Eclipse to be worth it, so I'd rather just give the damage buff. And after this, we'll go back to our favorite part time, which is waiting for our teammates to kill enemies and just providing buffs by existing. And like we see here, foaming some respawns if needed. Otherwise, just be ready. You can do Scorpio. You can also put opportunistic back on and just give some more opportunistic buffs to your teammates. We're gonna get ready to run in here. And which is arguably more important, start a vote kick on Pomic for almost killing me. For this part, I will go back to Eclipse, and I will always start foaming by going for the left side add that always spawns there, since this is, in my opinion, the best option to get a good creeping death spread in the beginning, and just for my teammates to be able to spread from there as well. I'm going to drop my hive down to heal my team, and then we'll just go back to Scorpio and also trying to foam some more enemies. I did replace it here because I noticed they're not getting healed. What you will see me doing a lot more in this room is I need to foam a lot more, since the nature they spawn very, very split and move very split, so we need a lot more foam here. But since we always pay attention to saving our foams, that usually isn't a problem. One of our team in this run, in this case Sharky, will wait on the entry of Hovercraft to get the single chopper that spawns in the back, and I will swap back to Future and go with the other two of my team to the exit and the last spawn. I could sledge here if I feel like it. I'm just gonna foam when they run out, and then we're just gonna go back to Scorpio, and that is the room. For the boss fight, we don't run foam since the enemies are 100% elite, and it just isn't worth it due to the duration and just the spread. I will, however, leave it in and just show you one way how we run it and what I would usually do after foaming for the run. Since they are 100% elite, it does make a lot of sense to run a protection from elite or PvE build. I would say two different PvE builds work well here. Either more damage focused with, for example, Intimidate and Adrenaline Rush, or what I do here, more team buff / support focused with Perfect Vanguard and Perfect Galvanize in my case. I do recommend using Catharsis for either builds though. My team stays on full DPS. They will split left, right, and middle of the room, focus the turrets first, just so we can move freely. The main reason why we split up here is just so every ad usually gets seen by at least two of our DPS players, and just makes it easier, and no one can slip through and hide in the back and shoot spam drones or something. My job will just be to be annoying and in the way for the enemies. I will move from left to right, drop my decoy, shoot some Scorpio, and also just throw some fire grenades for sledge. A quick tip, if you quickly fast travel to a safe house before we start the boss fight, that will refill your grenades. If you decide you want to go for more damage focused PvE, which I personally wouldn't, you should always hard focus more priority targets like medics, drones, grenadiers, or something like that. I personally also don't recommend running Imminence, so the 2Ps that gives you increased threat. From my experience, it just doesn't really do a lot. Because the thing is, how it works is you have an increased base threat, so when the enemies spawn, they will focus me first, which they probably will anyway because I'm the closest. But the threat someone like a full red DPS generates is way higher, so they will look at me for a second, and as soon as, for example, Sharky shoots them, they're gonna focus him. So I just don't see the value Imminence provides here. But I hope our good friend IKEA explains it to us in the future. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what else you would like me to make a video about, besides foaming in Zoo, of course. And otherwise, GG's. Catch you guys in the next stream or video, and laters.